In the vast landscape of Sanatan Dharma, there is one day that stands above all others, a day when the boundaries between the physical world and the celestial realm become thin, a day when the Vaikuntha Dwaram, the northern gate of God's own abode, is thrown open to all of humanity. Welcome to the Enlightenment Company. Today, we are embarking into the heart of Vaikuntha Ekadashi. Why do millions fast for 24 hours? What is the secret science behind the moon's pull on our bodies? And why is the great temple of Sri Rangam considered the heaven on earth during this 21-day festival? Whether you are a lifelong devotee or a seeker of ancient wisdom, this guide will decode the mythology, the biology, and the spiritual technology of the most auspicious day in the Vaishnava calendar. Let us begin our ascent. To understand this day, we must travel back in time to the Padma Purana. The story begins with a nightmare. A formidable asura named Muran had grown so powerful that he terrorized the three worlds. Even the Devas were helpless. They sought refuge with Lord Vishnu, who engaged Muran in a battle that lasted for thousands of years. But Muran was no ordinary demon. He represented the darkest traits of the human ego: greed, arrogance, and inertia. Realizing that a shift in strategy was needed, Lord Vishnu retired to a cave named Simhavati in Badarikashrama. He entered a state of yogic sleep. Muran, thinking the Lord was vulnerable, entered the cave to strike. But at that exact moment, a radiant female power emerged from the Lord's own body, specifically from his 11 senses and his mind. With a single glance of fire, this goddess incinerated Muran, turning him to ashes. When Vishnu awoke, he was so pleased that he named her Ekadashi, as she was born on the 11th lunar day. He granted her a boon. Anyone who observes a fast and seeks the divine on this day will be cleansed of all sins and granted passage to Vaikuntha. This is the first secret of the day. Muran is the demon within us. The goddess Ekadashi is the power of our own self-control that slays that demon.
But why the number 11? In Sanskrit, Eka means 1 and Dasha means 10. Combined, they form Ekadashi. But the spiritual meaning is far deeper than a date on a calendar. In Vedic philosophy, every human possesses 11 indriyas, or instruments of the soul. 5 are the jnana indriyas, your senses of knowledge: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. 5 are the karma indriyas, your senses of action: speech, hands, feet, and the organs of excretion and reproduction. The 11th and most powerful is Manas, the mind. It is the captain of the ship. On Vaikuntha Ekadashi, the goal is Upavasa. While many translate this as fasting, the literal meaning is to sit near. To sit near God, we must withdraw our energy from these 11 directions.
When we stop feeding the tongue, we silence the most demanding sense. When we keep a night vigil, known as Jagran, we prove to ourselves that our soul is more powerful than the body's need for sleep. This is not self-punishment, it is self-mastery. Modern science is only now beginning to catch up with what the rishis knew thousands of years ago. Why fast on the 11th day specifically? The human body is 70 to 80% water. Just as the moon's gravity creates tides in the oceans, it creates subtle tides in the fluids of our bodies. On the 11th day of the lunar cycle, atmospheric pressure drops and the magnetic pull of the moon reaches a peak that can disturb our nervous system and digestion. By fasting on Ekadashi, we reduce the water content in our system. This prevents the unsteadiness of the mind. Furthermore, the prohibition of rice is grounded in biology. Rice retains a massive amount of water. Consuming it during this lunar peak causes water retention in the brain and organs, leading to lethargy and cloudy thinking.
Scientifically, this 24-hour fast triggers a process called autophagy. This is the body's natural recycling mechanism. When no new food is coming in, your cells begin to clean out damaged proteins and toxins. It is a biological reset that prepares the vessel of the body for higher spiritual frequencies. Now, let us travel to the epicenter of the celebrations, the Sri Ranganatha Swami temple in Srirangam. Here, the festival lasts for 21 incredible days. The festival is split into two halves, Pagal Pattu, the 10 days of the morning, and Ira Pattu, the 10 days of the night. On the 10th day, the Lord appears in a stunning form known as Mohini Alankaram, dressed as the divine enchantress who retrieved the nectar of immortality. But at 5 a.m. on Vaikuntha Ekadashi morning, the atmosphere changes. The air is thick with the scent of tulsi and the sound of 100,000 voices chanting, Renga, Renga. The processional deity, Namperumal, is adorned in the Ratnangi, armor made entirely of rubies and diamonds. He is carried through the Parampada Vasal, the gate to paradise. This gate is closed for 364 days of the year. To walk through it behind the Lord is to symbolically step out of the cycle of birth and death. In Tirumala, the home of Lord Venkateshwara, this is celebrated as Mukkoti Ekadashi. It is believed that 30 million deities descend to earth to witness the Lord's procession on the golden chariot, the Swarna Ratham. There is another reason this day is so powerful. History tells us that Vaikuntha Ekadashi is also Gita Jayanti. It was on this very lunar day, 5,000 years ago, that Lord Krishna spoke the 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Think of the symmetry. Arjuna was confused and paralyzed by kuntha, obstruction and anxiety. Krishna opened the Vaikuntha, the state without obstruction for him. If the fast purifies the body, the Gita purifies the intellect. This is why gifting a copy of the Bhagavad Gita on this day is considered one of the most meritorious acts a human can perform. As we conclude our journey, you may ask, how can I bring the energy of Vaikuntha into my own life? If you are healthy, try the Nirjala fast, no food or water. If that is not possible, take only fruits and milk. Most importantly, stay awake, not just physically, but spiritually. Use this day for Jagaran, meditate, chant the Vishnu Sahasranamam, or simply reflect on your path. In 2025, we are blessed with a rare occurrence, 2 Vaikuntha Ekadashis. The year ends with the second one on December 30th. Mark your calendars, this is your appointment with the divine. The gate is not just a physical door in a temple in South India, it is a doorway in your own heart. When you slay the Muran of your ego, you are already in Vaikuntha. Thank you for joining us on the Enlightenment Company. If this journey moved you, share this wisdom with a fellow seeker. Subscribe for more deep dives into the infinite traditions of Hinduism. Until next time, Om Namo Narayanaya.